Hey guys, today I want to be talking all about retinoids and looking at prescription retinoids such as Tretinoin and also looking at over-the-counter retinoids like retinols. So I'm going to be comparing retinoids at various prices, and specifically toward the end of this video I will be looking at very affordable retinols that you can get over the counter at the drugstore. So if you're just interested in that portion of the video, I'll have a timestamp down in the description box for you, but I'll be looking at the differences between these retinoids, which products are best suited for each skin concern, and also looking at different price points of retinoids. So retinoids play a key role in many functions of our bodies, including vision, learning and memory, and even immune function. But what we're going to be looking at today is how retinoids impact skin biology. So retinoids help increase cell turnover rate, they boost collagen production, and they also help fight hyperpigmentation. So they sort of give our skin a wake-up call. So there are different types of retinoids, including prescription tretinoin, also over-the-counter Differin or adapalene gel, retinaldehydes, and retinols. So we're going to be looking at the differences between these types of retinols and which one of these retinols are best suited for each skin concern, backed by scientific evidence. So prescription tretinoin, also known as Retin A, is retinoic acid. Retinoic acid actually performs many functions in our bodies, but looking at the big picture, it regulates gene expression. A gene is a short section of DNA that tells your cells to make proteins, and proteins perform many functions in our bodies to keep us healthy. So retinoic acid acts as a trigger for these genes to be expressed, and these genes play a key role in skin health and also skin regeneration. And so if we think about a key in car ignition example, the retinoic acid acts like a key that fits perfectly into the ignition, and we call this ignition a receptor. And the receptor that retinoic acid binds to is called CRABP2. So just like a car will only start if the correct key is inserted into the ignition, these regulatory skin genes will only be expressed if retinoic acid binds to this receptor in our skin. And so this is actually impacting how DNA is expressed in our skin. So again, this retinoic acid, which is also known as tretinoin or Retin A, is only available by a prescription from a dermatologist, but this retinoic acid is the most evidence-based retinoid that we have currently. It has the most evidence for increasing collagen production, skin regeneration, increasing cell turnover rate, also helping reduce hyperpigmentation. And there are actually studies that show that retinoic acid actually removes precancerous skin cells. It also strengthens the skin barrier and helps fight acne. So tretinoin has been around for many years. The first studies on it were conducted in the 80s, and ever since then there has been a growing body of research supporting all of these skin benefits for retinoic acid. So what are the drawbacks to retinoic acid? One, it can be very irritating, and two, it can be costly, or it can be difficult to get because you have to, again, see a dermatologist, and it can be costly depending on how much your insurance is willing to cover. However, in the last couple of years in the United States, adapalene or brand name Differin has become available over the counter. This used to only be available by prescription. However, there's not as much evidence for it being anti-aging as tretinoin, so there's not as many studies looking at it helping to reduce wrinkles and fine lines, for example, as tretinoin. But if your main concern is sunspots and hyperpigmentation, then it is very well suited for that. There's also a lot of data that it's well suited for treating acne. However, there are some smaller studies in the last few years that are very promising in it having anti-aging effects. So the evidence is growing over time that it does have the same benefits as tretinoin, but there's just not as much research on it. It's also less irritating than the prescription tretinoin or Retin A. Oh, and I also wanted to point out that CVS recently came out with a generic form of adapalene, which is less expensive than the brand name Differin. So that is something to consider if you're interested in starting Differin. The way you want to use this is make sure you don't apply it to damp skin. Your skin should be completely dry, because if you apply it to damp skin, it will increase the likelihood of irritation. Dr. Dre has a lot of videos talking about starting Differin or adapalene and I would highly recommend checking out her videos. I'll have it linked down below for you. But her recommendation is actually to apply your moisturizer first. Make sure your moisturizer completely dries, and then apply the adapalene over top. That will further reduce the chance of irritation. Also, unlike most retinoids, you can actually apply this during the day. It's not going to degrade in the sunlight. It's not going to degrade by UV radiation, so you can use this during the day as well. So another retinoid that you can get as a cosmeceutical at the drugstore is known as retinaldehyde. So enzymes in your skin actually have to oxidize retinaldehyde to retinoic acid in order for your skin to be able to use it. It is less irritating than retinoic acid and Differin because your skin has to oxidize it, and because it's a slower release and controlled delivery, it is less irritating, but that also means that it's going to be slower to work, so it's going to take more time before you see results. However, there are a lot of studies supporting that retinaldehyde does have these same benefits. Even though it takes longer to start working, it does still have these same benefits of increasing collagen production, increasing cell turnover rate, reducing hyperpigmentation, and also reducing the appearance of wrinkles. However, a drawback of these is that they're often costly. For example, there is one from the brand Elite MD. It's the Liquid Gold Retinol Serum. It's $61. There's also one from the brand Osmosis, and it's $96. So even though there is a lot of evidence to back these up, it is very costly and often not within budget for many people. However, there is one by Avin, and Dr. Dre talked about this in one of her videos, and I looked at the article and thought it was very interesting and also very promising results. There was a clinical study showing that the retinaldehyde from Avin actually helped reduce the appearance of crow's feet. They specifically looked at crow's feet. It is expensive, but if your specific concern is crow's feet, then that could be a good option for you. Now I want to talk about the more affordable options, which are retinols. There are many retinols on the market. There are some very nice ones in my view that have good scientific evidence to back up their efficacy. There are so many retinols on the market. So I will be going over which ones are cost effective and which ones have scientific research to back them up. So retinols actually have to be oxidized to retinaldehyde, and then retinaldehyde has to be oxidized to retinoic acid in order for our skin to be able to use it. So this has to undergo 2 steps before our skin is able to use it. So therefore, it is going to be a lot slower to start working, but it is also going to be less irritating. However, there is a problem with retinols. Because they're considered a cosmeceutical and they're not considered a drug like adapalene or Differin, which is now available over the counter, and also like Tretinoin, which is only available by prescription. So because it's not a drug, it's not regulated by the FDA or any other regulatory system in order to show its efficacy. So companies that sell retinol are not required to show that their retinols are stable or that they're effective. They can make claims, so just because you see the claim on the label doesn't mean that it has any scientific evidence to back it up, because there's just no requirement for it to actually be tested. However, I have done some digging and research, and I have some affordable options to share with you that you can get at the drugstore that I believe have nice scientific evidence to back them up, and I'm going to explain so I'm going to be going over a few now. The first retinol product that I'd like to talk about that you can get at the drugstore is called the Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. So this has retinol SA in it. The SA stands for sustained action, so it's slow release. It's going to be less irritating because it has this slow release technology. It is patented by Johnson & Johnson. So Johnson & Johnson owns Neutrogena, and Johnson & Johnson actually has many patents on retinols. So there have been many years of research and development behind these retinols. So what was really promising to me is that this retinol SA used in this product actually has been shown to bind to this receptor that retinoic acid binds to and express the genes associated with this receptor. So just like I was talking about at the beginning, how retinoic acid acts like a key that perfectly fits into the ignition, which is the receptor. So this retinoic acid has been shown to bind to this same receptor and also express these same genes that are important in skin health and regeneration. And actually something that really stood out to me is that this Neutrogena rapid wrinkle repair is often used as a positive control for looking at other types of retinols. So with scientific experiments, a positive control is something that we know the outcome of. So we're confident. It's basically what we use to ensure that our experiment is working properly. So they actually now use this retinol used in this product as a positive control when looking at other retinoids, when looking at how it expresses these genes. So that was very promising to me. So that's why I've actually decided that I'm going to be trying this out. So I am in my 20s and I don't, have, many wrinkles and fine lines, but I do have the 11s on my forehead and also a few fine lines on my forehead, and also mainly I also have a lot of fine lines on my neck. So I'm going to be trying out this Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. Also updating you on my progress, but I'm feeling very positive about it, and I really like the scientific evidence I've seen behind it. So that's why I'm choosing to use that product. The next product I wanted to talk about is the CeraVe retinol. This is going to be great if you have a lot of redness in your skin, and also if you are dealing with acne that heals with redness or hyperpigmentation. This is going to be an excellent product because this also has niacinamide and licorice root extract, which are excellent at helping brighten the skin, help reduce redness, and help fade hyperpigmentation. And also, as with the Neutrogena retinol, the CeraVe retinol also has evidence that it binds to the receptor that allows for gene expression that regulates skin health and skin regeneration. Something you might not know about CeraVe is that they merged with L'Oreal. L'Oreal has many years of research behind retinols, and they actually make some of the expensive medical grade retinols. So there is a very high chance that this retinol is the same as you would get in some very expensive high-end medical grade retinols. Alright, and then the next retinoid I wanted to mention is the ordinary gram active retinoid. Now this has a retinoid called HPR, which stands for hydroxypenocolone retinoate. There isn't very much data on this yet, and there actually isn't any data on this compound published in scientific papers. The data published on this was actually funded by Estee Lauder, which Estee Lauder actually owns part of the Ordinary, and they sponsored this research. I would recommend checking out Cassandra Bankson's video where she kind of looks at Dr. Dre's perspective on this retinoid product and gives her perspective. So Dr. Dre is a dermatologist and Cassandra is an esthetician, so it was really interesting to see kind of their differing views, but it was very informative. I would recommend checking her video out if you want more information. But in addition to this retinoid, it also has encapsulated retinol, so it's a time-release retinol, and this is also very affordable. So even though there is more research to back up these other products that I mentioned, this one is definitely the most affordable, and I completely understand that that is a huge factor for many people when considering, purchasing a retinol. So I'm not going to completely discredit this product. It has really nice customer reviews, and a lot of people say that they've noticed a huge difference in their skin. And the esthetician that I mentioned, Cassandra Bankson, said that she has noticed that it works really well for her skin as well. So definitely check out her video. From an ingredient standpoint, it does have nice ingredients. It has very hydrating ingredients like glycerin. It also has fatty alcohols. I have a video all about fatty alcohols that I'll have linked below for you, but it has cetyl alcohol. And these fatty alcohols actually are very hydrating for the skin and moisturizing for the skin. It also has ethyl linolate, which is an unsaturated fatty acid. that is antibacterial and also has anti-inflammatory properties, and it's been proven to be a powerful anti-acne agent. So yeah, definitely check out Dr. Dre and Cassandra to hear different views. I think it's always good to hear different views from different experts. So if you're new here, I'm a chemist who loves makeup artistry and skincare. I have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry and a master's in chemistry, and I'm currently working on my PhD in chemistry. And I love making videos explaining the ingredients in cosmetics, but I do think that it's a really good idea to listen to opinions from different experts. So check out Dr. Dre's channel, she's a dermatologist. Check out Cassandra's channel, she's an esthetician. I also really love Hiram's channel. So I'll have all of these YouTube creators also linked down below for you so that you can get different perspectives from different experts in the field on these different retinol products. So I really hope that my video was helpful for you. Please let me know any questions you have in the comments, and please also subscribe and ring the notification bell if you enjoyed this video, and also if you would like to see my review of the Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair Retinol. I'm really excited to try it out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.